Today we're going to go over sanders. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the scroll saw, but now we're moving on. This is one of the sanders that you'll see in the shop. This is just your common belt sander. It spins this way. One thing that I should mention is that all the sanders that you guys will use this year will be power sanders. The big belt powered sanders you'll use to sand these sides, edges and ends. That's the only two things that you'll use the big powered ones for. See if my clicker's going to work. Okay. For smoothing edges and end grain, not cutting large amounts. What do we mean by that? Exactly. Let's say that I cut something and it's this long. But it should be that long. Do I just take it to the sander and buzz that down because I think it'll be quicker?
No. Yeah.
No.
That's better. No. But we have saws out there for that purpose. This is just to make your edges nice and smooth so they look real pretty when you varnish them and stain them. Yep, they are pretty. Move the wood left to right while sanding. Any good guesses why? Just because we like to?
Helps to clear sawdust from paper.
There, someone can read. Nice work.
Good job.
It clears the sawdust from paper and it evens out the wear. If I just stick it up there and hold it up there against it, it's going to rub in just that one little spot. Oh, come on in. Oh, okay, yeah.
You can just set it.
You're on camera too.
Then I need to hand it to you.
You can set them there, that's fine.
Okay. So it helps to clear the sawdust from the paper, and it also prevents wear. Those belts aren't cheap, so we want to make them last as long as we can. Eye protection. Remember, we all have to wear eye protection anytime we use a power tool out here. Never use the paper if it's loose, torn, etc. Why? Could break, potentially fly off, and hurt you. And there's also a chance that in that one spot it'll start to heat up a little bit, and there's also a fire risk there as well. So if the sandpaper is especially worn or clogged or things like that, you want to clean it or replace it. All adjustments are made with the power off. Nothing else to say there, really. Okay. Don't force the wood. Put a slight pressure on it. This is really important. Dea, you can tell us why.
Because it'll fly off and hit you.
Exactly. If you push too hard... Oh, you go ahead and say something.
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you had something. But if you push too hard, you're putting too much force on that wood, and it'll tend to grab it a little bit. The class before you, we had a couple of chunks of wood fly across the shop and hit the same bucket in the corner both times. It was pretty impressive to see, but if someone would have been standing there instead, you could have gotten yourself hurt. Have a big black eye or not on the head or worse.
Actually, in those instances, they were not holding the wood tightly enough.
They weren't pushing it too hard. They were just, like, put it in there haphazardly and it just catches it and it flies off. Same thing happens either way. You don't want to have too little force and you don't want to have too much force for the same reasons. Okay, keep your guards in place. They're there for a reason so we don't trim our fingernails too much. This is the edge sander. This is the big one that spins real fast. This is the one that we had a couple of pieces fly across. This is a guard. What do we use that for?
Keep the wood on
Right.
there.
Exactly. You can put your wood up against here. This one we don't have to move left and right because this oscillates. This belt will move up and down. We'll turn it on out there and you'll be able to see it. But that belt will move up and down about probably half an inch, 3/4 of an inch. But for that reason, that guard's there. You can just rest your wood up against it. It's a little bit of a keepsake. How about this? Yep. If you've got a half round edge or something, you can use that side of the sander instead. Here's your on and off switches. On is always green, like a stop sign. Green is go. Red, stop, off. If you can't read and you're colorblind, we might have to work with you. But this is a disc sander. This one's it's kind of neat the way that it works. But this spins in a circle. So if this spins like a clock.
Goes the other way.
Oh, it does go the other way. Yep, it does. Okay. This one spins counterclockwise, anti-clock. So it goes this way. Which side of the wood would you want to put it on? You always sand with the grain. But what I'm saying is, what side of this would you want to put it on? Because this is going up, this is going down.
That side.
With the one that's going down.
With the one that's going down, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
That keeps it on the table, it keeps it from flipping up. If you put your wood over here, there's a big chance that it'll keep popping it up and it might spin it around and flop it to the other side. It's really hard to control and it's not exactly good for the wood. So, make sure you put it on the left side always. There's a little blue brake up here. If you turn this on and shut it back off, this thing will spin pretty much until shop class is over. So we have this little brake up here. After you're done using it, you can lightly push on that and it'll slow the saw down and eventually stop it. So it's good to use that, just so somebody accidentally doesn't bump into it and get their shirt sucked into it, or something like that.
Okay.
This is a little spindle sander. This one's kind of neat. This will be used mostly for, you know, tight circles, little intricate things like that little bobcat and stuff like that for the inside. And you'll just set it down on the inside, or you can use the outside of it. This one, an important thing to remember is you have to clean it all the time. It gets plugged up really quick, and once it gets plugged up, it doesn't sand and it gets hot, and you could start a little bit of a fire. It's like, you know, spinning a stick. However they did it, in whatever time period that was. But that one's kind of fun to use. It moves up and down too to try to clean itself, but you still have to clean it all the time. We've got a little magic eraser out there for it. Okay, that's the end of the show. That's what we like to see. We'll also have palm sanders out there. Those weren't mentioned in here, but those are pretty straightforward and they're really easy to use.